It might look like Marcellus Wiley might be the one who actually comes for Stephen A. Smith for good, man, because he dropped another episode on his podcast, and this one was titled Stephen A. Smith lying about Terrell Owens with some boxing gloves or whatever. 19-minute clip, and Marcellus Wiley went in length in why Stephen A. Smith is currently lying about Terrell Owens. So before I play the clip, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and then we're going to come back and react to what Marcellus had to say.
It's not true. This all started because of you doing something that violated TO. And lawyers came to TO saying, hey man, that's in violation. What would you like to do about that? Now I'm gonna let TO tell his full story because I don't know the full story, but I do know this part of it. And even Stephen A. Smith, he hasn't said this yet. He might have to say it now after I put this out there, or someone else puts it out there, or TO tells it, whatever. Admitted that he did that, and that was wrong to publish those text messages. Here's the funny thing is, he used as a reason, as an excuse, that he thought that the text message was a tweet. Woo! All right, here we go. Open up y'all text. All right, look at it. Open up y'all X or Twitter. Look at it. Have you ever thought those two were the same? Hell no. So one, I'm like, that is foul to even act like that's the reason. When we know the real reason is you were mad because T.O. touched the third rail in Stephen A. Smith's core. He questioned your blackness. And Stephen A., you ain't the first.
All right, so y'all heard the man. And the word was already out that Stephen A. Smith was sued by Terrell Owens over some text, but I didn't know if it was true. So I guess this is official confirmation. Terrell Owens went out there and tried to sue Stephen A. Smith for reading some text on live. So my first thing was like, what text did Stephen A. Smith actually read from T.O. that would be so bad or so compromising that T.O. would be like, let me take this guy to court? So I did some research, and here is what T.O. had to say. This is according to this article from Cincinnati.com. So this was following Stephen A. Smith remarks about Colin Kaepernick, saying in quotes, he doesn't want to play football, he wants to be a martyr. End of the quote. And then T.O., after seeing that on first take, actually took to Stephen A.'s private line and said, you have no idea what you're talking about, you're quick to bash, that's why people say what they say about you. End of the quote. And this is why, this is what Stephen A. Smith actually went out and read on air. And T.O. just took the opportunity and sued. Now, about that part, I don't like that personally. Stephen A. Smith is whack as hell for reading and exposing someone on air. What's said in private is supposed to stay private. And that's like little girl from kindergarten type of stuff, trying to be like, oh, you see what he told me or whatever. And you put that on air, that's lame as fuck. But still, I don't like that T.O. actually took that to court, but he did, so it's official. Now, about the other part, Marcellus Wiley and Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is very, very fascinating to me because the fact that he's out here on public platforms going out there and lying, expecting that no one would ever check his lie, is mind-boggling to me. It's like, you know, when you hang out with the homies and you come across some fine girls and one of the homies starts just reinventing his whole life in front of you, and it's like at this point it's kind of daring you, you know, to actually call out the bullshit. And this is why Stephen A. Smith has been doing to the whole industry. But just like he said on the Joe Budden podcast, here's why Stephen A. Smith often gets surpassed, is because he knows that if Stephen A. Smith makes a quote-unquote enemy out of you in the sports business, it's spooky for you if you're trying to get a job after. So this is why a lot of sports media personalities, they probably won't never, ever go after Stephen A. Smith. It's just because they're pretty scared for their jobs. But that's not the case for guys like Marcellus Wiley or Dan Lebertard, who even came at him, who pretty much gave up on the mainstream media. And this is why Marcellus Wiley is like, I'm finna expose all the truth. And what's actually very, very funny about this whole thing is that Marcellus Wiley, it doesn't seem like he care about the harm that he's actually causing to Stephen A. Smith. He's just out there laughing on camera, peeling layers after layers, exposing the truth. It's like a case study for him, and he's doing it with a big ass smile. So now what's going to be interesting for me is, first of all, you can see that the videos about quote unquote exposing Stephen A. Smith, and that's not just from Marcellus Wiley, from all people who are doing the videos are doing quite well. So I feel like the world is kind of spreading that Stephen A. Smith is doing some grimy stuff. So now the ball is in Stephen A.'s camp. Does he actually respond, or does he ignore it? And he kind of hopes that, something big in the sports world happen, or some issues happen, and he goes out there on TV, gives a great speech, and people forgive him. I don't know. In my opinion, the play is, you lay low, you just go out there, do your job, be humble for a while, and just hope that people forget, man. Because if you go into a back and forth with Marcellus Wiley, a brother that's educated, that has all of the receipts, and that has way less to lose than you, what you're going to do is put the spotlight on Marcellus Wiley and all of his takes will make a lot of sense, and you're going to put yourself in jeopardy. You don't want to do that if you're Stephen A. Smith. And over anything, I hope that Stephen A. Smith doesn't take to his podcast and he goes out there with like a bunch of files and he's like, oh yeah, I know all the truth about Marcellus Wiley. You better be careful. But I don't swing like that, so I won't do it. And then he doesn't say anything. I hope this is not what he does, because I hate that shit. That reminds me of, when Drake beefed with Pusha T, he came out. Pusha T came with the first diss on his album. I forgot the name. It was the last track on Daytona. But whatever. This Drake came back. Duppy freestyle was pretty nice, right? Then Pusha T, we all know story of Vadidon. You are hiding a child. And then Drake was like, oh, I got this career-ending track. But Jay Prince was like, no, you're not dropping. So I'm going to go and see LeBron and make an interview talking about, hey, yeah, I could have ended this man's life. This could have became really personal. I hate that shit. Either you have something and you swing, or you don't and you keep it moving, bro. Just take the L. And it seems like Stephen A. Smith, for whatever reason, he has kind of his ego issue when it's like he does not accept to be painted in a bad light. And it's like we all going to have our good moments and we all going to have our bad moments, especially for a guy like Stephen A. Smith, who's been out there for 12 years on TV every day. It's not even fair to him to expect for him to be flawless out there. So, bro, when you're wrong, just say, bro, I'm wrong. And keep it moving. No one will hold that against you. It does way more harm for you to do something like you did to Lonzo. You go out there, you say the man can't stand up. Lonzo checks you in a jokingly way, and rather than laughing it off like, yeah, the source is fucked up or whatever, I'm just repeating the sources. With the great entertainment skill that he has, he could have done this, played it off, laughed it off. Shout out to Lonzo, keep it moving. You go out there and you say, you don't want to make an enemy out of me. You don't want to make an enemy out of me, bro. I know the doctors. I can impact you. You don't do that. So anyways, I'm going to close the video right here. Get in the comment section and give me your thoughts about this whole thing, man. What Stephen A. should do. Do you think Marcellus Wiley can actually harm Stephen A. Smith's reputation? And I appreciate you guys for checking me out, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.